I'm a little frustrated with Phoenix Suns fans this morning. I don't argue with fans on social media because it's hard to be rational with fans of whatever fan base. Cardinals, Steelers, Cowboys, Lakers, Yankees. Like, fan is obviously short for fanatic. Clearly. And we emote, we get emotional, we have what is seen at times harsh opinions of our teams. But I'm not going to be, I'm not going to argue with fans on social media. I love to interact, but it seems like to me it's never in goodwill. There's nothing more I dislike. There's nothing more I dislike about fandom, especially in the Arizona fan base, talking more specifically with the Phoenix Suns, is fake outrage. It was clearly seen amongst Suns fans. This revisionist history drives me crazy. This idea that no one wanted Kevin Durant, no one wanted Bradley Beal when it happened, no one wanted to move on from DeAndre Ayton. Yeah, we're going to revisit that topic today again. It drives me crazy. This idea that you never wanted Kevin Durant here, or you never wanted Bradley Beal here, and it's all Mat Ishbia's fault. Do you remember what life was like under Robert Sarver? A guy let Amari Stoudemire walk. He let Steve Nash walk twice, traded him the second time. And you want to blame Mat Ishbia for issues? Listen, does Ishbia have his shortcomings? Of course, like every owner does. But let's be fair about this. Mat Ishbia has been a revolution for this Phoenix Suns team. I cannot stand this idea that Mat Ishbia ruined the Phoenix Suns. Why does no one hold players accountable? I'm watching the Phoenix Suns every day, every single day. They have issues with effort. Rotations are bad. And there's people on social media, they're like, you should have put different players around Kevin Durant. You should have never traded for Bradley Beal. Well, let's revisit the Bradley Beal trade before we talk about Bradley Beal in totality in a second here. What did you give up for Bradley Beal? A couple of pick swaps that will never be used, ever. It's just cosmetics. And a bunch of second-round picks. Second-round picks are just currency in the NBA. Suns got 3 of them last draft. It's not tough to get second-round picks. You stole Bradley Beal. And that's what you said it was. And that's what I said it was. Were we wrong? Yeah, of course. But to act like it wasn't a great idea to go get Beal because you wanted Chris Paul, who's just about 40 at this point, who defensively was slow, didn't work out with this team anymore. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? You didn't want Kevin Durant? This idea that you were better off with Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson? Yes, revisionist history says you probably gave up too much for Kevin Durant. But what's Mikal Bridges doing? He's the 4th best player on the 3rd best team in the East. Cam Johnson's the best player on a tanking team in Brooklyn. Listen, I love Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges. But let's not act like they were going to carry this team to some sort of championship title. Do you forget what Luka Donic did? Well, they went 64-16, whatever it was. I'd rather lose in the second round than deal with what I dealt with. No, you wouldn't. Stop lying. Losing in the second round and getting humiliated by Luka Donic and losing in the regular season, You still didn't win a championship. You still didn't make a conference finals. Stop acting like you were so prideful. Because I saw the outrage on Twitter when the Suns lost Game 7. You were frustrated. You were annoyed. You wanted changes. And when Kevin Durant came into the picture, you were willing to give up the farm, the house, and everything along with it. Your firstborn. So it drives me crazy. Drives me just absolutely insane that this idea that Mat Ishbia has ruined the Suns. All Mat Ishbia has done is use every asset at his disposal to make this team better. Did he do it, wrong in some instances? Yeah, of course. That's pretty obvious. Revisionist history says Bradley Beal probably should have traded for him. But it was either Bradley Beal or the mid-level exception. It was either Bradley Beal or a guy like Dennis Schroeder at the time. What are we doing? That was the only way to get better. Now, in hindsight, is it too much redundancy in the offense? Absolutely. I can see people in the chat talking about, people will forget how we got cooked with our roster. It was great when we went to the finals, but when we lost to Luka, it was frustrating. I can't believe we are in an instance where we're wishing to go back to a time where we were losing in Game 7 and questioning what happened the year prior. Can we just be honest? The players deserve way more blame for the Phoenix Suns' shortcomings, their failures, than the management. I will die on this hill. Call it bootlicking if you want. I don't care. That Mat Ishbia has been one of the lone bright spots with this team. Is he going to learn as an owner to get better, to allocate his money differently? Yeah, of course. It's his second year, third year being an owner. He's young. Do I agree with going after Jimmy Butler for talent alone? But listen, the Warriors aren't going after Jimmy Butler. The Mavericks aren't. You want to know why? Because every other team looking at the second apron is scared. Mat Ishbia has double-birded the second apron and said, we'll just blow past it. It's what we do. I don't care. There's no other owners right now in the NBA that are doing that. The Denver Nuggets won the championship 2 years ago. Once they got close to the second apron, they said, hey, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, you can go. One of the best three-point shooters in the NBA. One of the best 3-and-D guys in the NBA. And they were like, oh, sorry, we don't want to pay that much. They just won a championship with him. Imagine if they had KCP this year. Probably the front runners in the West. You know who they're going to miss in a potential conference finals against the Thunder? KCP. A guy that can help guard J-Dub or help guard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So it's fake outrage. And I cannot stand fake outrage, inauthenticity. People that act like this team was better off with guys like McHale and Cam Johnson. That is laughable. That is so laughable. You also had to pay Cam Johnson at the end of the year. He got $100 million. You would have been allocating $200+ million to Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges. Now, I'm willing to say that, listen, they probably gave up too many picks. Yeah, probably. Ishbia's got to be better with that. But he's not going to let this team fall off a cliff and tank. Those pick swaps mean nothing. Nothing. They never get used. I'd much rather have a too aggressive owner than a too conservative owner. But it's fake outrage. You're just trying to have a reason to be upset. You're just trying to point the finger at someone. But you're too scared to say, Devin Booker has clearly regressed this year. He has had trouble fitting into Mike Budenholzer's system. Kevin Durant, at times, has been a little invisible and has not demanded the basketball. Like I understand Kevin Durant stands wish he just got the ball because he should every single time. And Bradley Beal doesn't fit. An effort across the board is horrendous. They got out-rebounded by the Charlotte Hornets the other day. If the Suns, everyone on that roster, just tried incredibly hard, they would have beat the Charlotte Hornets the other night. But because they have an effort issue and a culture issue and a leadership issue, yeah, Kevin Durant fans, I use the L word, leadership, this team has fallen off a cliff. Yeah, sure, fire James Jones. I don't care. If you're naive to the point that you think James Jones is running the show, okay, go for it. I don't ever. I'm not there, but you can. Get rid of him. I don't care. He's had a couple of pretty good drafts, Cam Johnson and Tumani Kamara and Ryan Dunn and Oso Ighodaro. But sure, run him out of town. I couldn't care less. I am for holding players accountable, not management for spending too much money, for caring too much. So, it's crazy to me. This revisionist history is starting to drive me a little insane for Phoenix Suns fans.